Dear friends, lytudiep. What will life be like for Tu Diep and co. James when a third person appears? One late afternoon when the sunset died, the city streets gold Tu Diep leaves the coffee shop after a day of studying. As she walked on the sidewalk, a mournful melody rang out from the street corner. There was a homeless man with messy hair, ragged clothes, sitting on the cold ground hugging an old guitar. Despite the haggard appearance, but his eyes lit up strangely. His guitar sound carries an indescribable sadness. Attract Tu Diep's eyes. She slowly approached. An indescribable feeling rose in her heart, both sad and curious. She can't leave without doing anything. Tu Diep bowed down. Take some change from your pocket, then gently placed in the old wooden box in front of the homeless ma. He looked up at her with eyes full of experience. Thank you, young girl. His voice was hoarse but warm, and the lead smiled. You play very well. Were you ever a musician? The man smiled slightly, but did not answer immediately. He just continued to strum lightly on the strings. Create a countdown. You are probably the first person to ask me that question in years. Tu Diep looked at that man for a long time. A strange curiosity rose in her heart. How long have you been here? The man looked silently into the distance and spoke softly. Long enough to see many people come and go. Long enough to realize that not even AI has a chance to do it a guy. From the beginning. That sentence made Tu Diep suddenly feel sad. She didn't ask anything more, just nodded silently. I hope one day you will have a better life, she said, then stood up and left. But she didn't know that from that moment, the homeless man started to notice her. A few days later in the evening, Tu Diep James go to the mall to buy a new phone. James held her hand and walked into the luxury store. Choose a suitable phone so she can use it for studying. But from far away in the darkness of the nearby alley, the homeless man was silently watching them. His eyes flashed with something unreadable. He did not take his eyes off the Tu Diep, the girl who treated him kindly. She has a different life than the one I used to have, he muttered to himself. Watch James and Zia happily choose their phones. He smiled faintly though. The girl will soon realize that not everyone can be trusted. After that day, Tu Diep began to notice something strange. Every time she goes to school, goes to the supermarket, or just goes for a walk, she always had the feeling that AI was watching her. Once when she left the library in the evening, the silhouette of a homeless man loomed in the distance. She was a little scared but then calmed herself down. Probably just a coincidence. But things are not that simple. One evening when Tu Diep left the coffee shop, he suddenly appeared before her. Where are you going, young lady? Tu Diep startled and stepped back. What's wrong, uncle? Homeless man smiles. You are so kind. But are you sure all the people around her good? Tu Diep frowned, not understanding what he meant. That evening James took Tu Diep to buy a new phone. Which model do you like? He asked gently. Tu Diep hesitated, looking around the store. Eyes light up like a child entering the world of technology for the first time. Everything is beautiful. Groaned. Choose the best phone and pay. From now on I can study more easily. Tu Diep was so touched that she could only hold his hand. But they did not realize that from across the street, homeless man standing in the dark followed them. His eyes lit up a special concern for Tu Diep. Why does he notice her? The following days, every time she goes out, she feels like she is being followed, even though she couldn't see the eye clearly. But there is always a familiar figure appearing in the distance. Once, when she stopped in front of a familiar coffee shop, she accidentally caught the homeless man's eyes, looking at her from across the street. A chill ran down her spine. Why does he keep following me? She gathered up her courage and walked up. I am following you, Sal. The man did not appear surprised. He just gently put the guitar down. Look at her with Tu Diep eyes. I don't mean to scare you, but you are a special girl. Tu Diep frowned especially. The man was silent for a long time and then spoke softly, we will see you soon. After saying that, he turned and left, leaving the Diep alone, a series of questions in mind. That night, Tu Diep tossed and turned. An able Tu Diep image of homeless man kept appearing in her mind. Then, in a fitful sleep, she dreamed a strange scene. Fog, a little girl standing, crying in the middle of the street. All around is darkness. A man with a guitar appeared. Shield the little girl from a heavy rain. When the little girl looked up, it was the young purple leaf. Tu Diep woke up with a start, her heart pounding. Who is that, Ma? Why is he in her memory? Is it just a dream? Or a part of the past that she forgot? The next day, Tu Diep decided to meet the homeless man, a guy. When she came to the street corner, where he used to play music, he disappeared. But instead she found an old photo on the ground. She picked it up and her heart pounded. In the photo is a young woman holding a baby girl. She was a child, and next to them is the homeless Ma. Mayan model me a truth. Gradually revealed this man is not a strangers who may have a kindCEO, especially with her past. But who is he, and why is he just appearing now? Tu Diep stood still, looking at the photo in his hand. Why is there a picture of her as a child in the hands of a homeless Ma? She couldn't remember who this man was, but her heart was beating strangely fast, as if there was an invisible link between them. Cannot ignore this too. Tu Diep returned home and rummaged through her mother's old boxes of memorabilia. She found a diary that had discolored over time. Among them was a note that shocked her. He said he would come back but then disappeared. Only the guitar and unfinished memories remain. No matter what, he is still her father too. Tu Diep stood still. That homeless man is her father. She hurried to find him. This time she found him sitting on the steps of an old train station, tired eyes looking into the distance. Tu Diep walked up, her voice trembling. Are you my father? The man was startled, but then he sighed and nodded. The whole world seemed to collapse into Tu Diep's eyes. She never knew who her father was. Her mother always avoided her when she asked about him. But now her father is homeless, wandering the streets. Tu Diep felt confused, angry, and heartbroken. Why did you just appear now, Ma? Or rather, father. She looked at her for a long time, and then said in a regretful voice, because father has nothing left. Father dare not return to his children with nothing. Those words made the purple leaf's heart ache. Tu Diep brought a heavy heart home. She didn't know how to talk to him about this, but as soon as I entered the house, she found James sitting pensively in front of his laptop screen. His face was full of kindCEO. What's up? She asked wordlessly. James turned to look at her, his eyes filled with doubt. I just received some news about your father. I also know the story of Tu Diep was stunned. How do you know? James pushed the laptop towards her. And on the screen was an old newspaper article. The roll of paper from businessman to homeless. The tragic life of Henry Lam Kai Scroll. Tu Diep choked. She continued reading and realized a horrifying truth. Her father was a wealthy businessman but was deceived. lost everything and disappeared from the market. The one who brought her father down is a former partner of James's company. James nailed it, and that person was none other than Robert, the man who ruined James when bankrupt. Everything started to connect. Dean looked up at Tu Diep. How do you understand? Your father was harmed by my enemy. Tu Diep trembled. She didn't know what to do. She loves James, but now her father was the victim, a guy of the people in James's world. What are you trying to say? Her voice is weak. James was silent for a moment and then said, I don't know if your father will forgive me. And can I stay with you for the first time? Their love was at risk of breaking up. Amid the tension between James and Ted, a woman suddenly appeared in James's life. Jame, her name is Emily. A successful businesswoman. Had a special relationship with James in the past. Jame, Emily has always loved James. And now seeing him in trouble, she wants to be with you. One evening when James was drinking alone in the bar, Emily walked over and gently placed her hand on his shoulder. Older brother James, do you need me? James was stunned. Tu Diep is also leaving him, but Emily is always here. Can James keep his composure, or will fall into Emily's arms? Will James and Tu Diep's love overcome this storm? At the luxury bar, the dim light reflects on the wine glass. In Ted dream, he sat quietly, his mind in turmoil. His company went bankrupt, manipulated by bad guys, and the girl he loves is gradually moving away. For the truth about her father James, a gentle voice rang out. James looked up to see Emily standing in front of him, eyes full of concern. Do you need an AI around right now? She asked gently. James looked at her without saying anything. Emily sat down next to him with Tu Diep eyes. You know, I have waited for this day for so long. The day I realized maybe I chose the wrong person. James was startled. Emily would. What are you talking about? Emily took a sip of wine and smiled. Tu Diep is not suitable for James. She's an innocent girl from the countryside. She can't help him get up, but I can. James clenched his glass of wine. I know Emily is right. She is a strong businesswoman. Powerful, financially powerful. If you stay with her, you can get it all back. But I remembered Tu Diep's clear eyes. Remember how she trusted and loved him. Whether you are a successful CEO or a failure, will James choose hard or reso? Thank you for watching the whole video. Let's wait for the next episode.